to Shelabobby Handmade. My name is Caitlin, and I am known just about everywhere on the internet as Shelabobby. And this is my podcast where... Sorry, I need to fix that. This is my podcast where we talk about knitting, crochet, cross-stitch today. Today is mostly going to be knitting and a teeny tiny little bit of cross-stitch. When I say teeny tiny, I mean teeny tiny. But... yeah, so I have 3 finished objects for you and a couple of works in progress and some acquisitions. So let's get started with finished objects. So the first one is the teeny tiny cross stitch, as I mentioned. So I worked on this last Monday, and it is a teeny tiny little pumpkin. So this was a cross-stitch kit that came in the Yarnable subscription. I believe it was the October or November box. And it's just sat waiting for me to do it. And so I picked it up. I was off, not this past Monday, but the Monday before I was off. And so decided to pick it up and give it a try. There are things that need to be fixed in it. I most definitely crossed the wrong way multiple times. I believe I was expected to do 2 over 2, so 2 strands of thread over 2 cross stitch holes, and I did 2 over 1. So I think that was one of the mistakes that I made, but basically I'm not worried about it. I was just giving it a go. I had never done cross stitch, and so I just did it on this teeny tiny little project. It is not going to become anything other than just to exist on this little tiny piece of fabric. I don't know if cross stitch cares about the back of it, but this is what the back of my cross stitch looks like. Looks like fun. But yeah, so that is my first finished object. I believe the creator of, it was a little matchbox. I gave the matchbox to my nephew, so I don't have that anymore, but it was a little matchbox box, and it was cross stitch spelled with a K, so cross stitch. And it was just included in my Yarnable monthly. So that is where that one came from. I don't have too much more information other than that was my first cross stitch I ever did. Let's see, next is my Duran's Bane socks. So these are the Lord of the Rings one collection to rule them all. I believe I got this in the second release. So those are both done. Let me show you the front of the sock. This is my favorite pattern sock to do, and I adapted it because my preferred stitch count right now is 68 stitches, and so what I did was just purled on either side of the pattern repeat and continued from there. So that is a completed sock for me. So any other information about this, let me see. I cast these on December 28th and finished them on January 20th. Again, 68 stitches. I believe it's a 20 round cuff, probably 15-ish. What's 3 repeats? So 12 rounds for the leg, slip stitch, heel flap and gusset, and then normal patterned for the foot. So I'll show you that one more time. And her yak sock base has become one of my favorites. I mean, her yarn in general, long dog yarn, is just one of my favorites, period. So no complaints from me. Yeah, so that's all for the Duran's Bane socks. So my last finished object, if you watched the last podcast, you know I made several several hats. for my cousin Brittany. I made her a hat, her twins Calvin and Harper a hat, and I wanted to make her husband Bob a hat, and so I did just that. So this is blocked and ready, so I'm not going to put it on my head because it is clean and fresh, ready to go to him. But this is a Musselburgh hat by Ysolda Teague. So it is double layered. So if I flip this inside out, that is either, I think that's the cast off. So where I did my decreases, it is a double layered hat. I did fingering weight held double, and the yarn that I used is the Wicked Stitch. This is a North Carolina dyer, and the colorway was Casual Friday. And I just held that double, and it has some really beautiful like cobalt speckles, some green speckles, just beautiful. So yes, this is a modified Musselburgh hat, and that is because I ran out of yarn. I tried to make it go as far as humanly possible, but I was down to like, I think 10 grams of each of the balls because I split it into 50-gram cakes. I was down to like 10 grams, and I knew I needed that for the decreases, so I went ahead and did the decreases. I think I wound up with like 4 grams of yarn left, so I could not get any more length out of this. However, it does cover my ears when I put it on my head, so I think that it'll be perfect. It just won't have like the fold over brim that you see with most of our hats. So that is my finished objects. We will now move into works in progress, and I have some exciting new cast-ons and progress on previous projects. Alright, so for the first work in progress, this is living in my, I never know exactly how to say it, manger is what I'm going to say, canvas bag, and in it lies my vodka lemonade. So this is a cardigan by Thea Coleman. Make sure I got that right. Yep, Thea Coleman. And it is a knit along that I'm doing with my friends at my local yarn store. So a lot of us are going to a retreat here in 24 days. And we all are making this same cardigan to wear in our own preferred colors. And so this is where I am. Now I have, like I said, 24 days to finish this up. I am 9 rows. See if I can get it to look halfway decent for you guys. I am 9 rows from splitting for the sleeves. So it has this seed stitch detail, and then these, I'm sorry, I cannot see my little preview screen and also hold it up. It has these beautiful eyelets on the raglans. The collar will fold over like so, and then it is a cardigan. So I am 9 rows from this side. I'm 9 rows from the split. And this little charm, I'm going to hold it upside down because that's going to be so much easier to show you. This little charm was where I was the last time that you saw it, and I have worked quite a few inches and increases to get to where I am now. So almost done with the yoke. Sorry, I keep knocking things over. Today is just a day, man. So I am almost ready to split for the sleeves. Now the pattern is very specific that it is based on measurements and not necessarily stitch count, so I will begin trying it here in a bit just to make sure that it is the depth of the yoke that I would like. The yarn that I am using, and I don't think I have any of the tags in here. I do. The yarn that I am using is Blue Sky Fibers Woolstock Worsted, which I always knit at a DK weight gauge, and the colorway is Wild Time. And I am on my second cake. So these come in 150 gram cakes or skeins, and I am working through my second one. So just some up close details on this while I talk about it. I believe I am knitting the size 7, and I am not making any major modifications. I think my main modification is going to be that I am going to make the sleeves a little bit longer. I believe it's a 3/4 length sleeve, and it's a little bit shorter. So I'm going to go a little bit longer and a little bit longer on the sleeves, but everything else is going to be knit to the pattern. I am knitting the knit side on a size 6, and I am knitting the purl side, or purling the purl side, on a size 5. So that is to help with my tension. The purl side is always a lot looser, and so I get wobbly rowing out. So that is to help prevent that, and I think it's doing a fairly good job based on my fabric there. It's not too bad. So I'm going to move this stitch marker while I'm thinking about it, because this will be my project for this afternoon. So I want to make sure that I remember to move it down for you guys. There we go. All right, stitch marker is moved. So like I said, I have 24 days. So on the next podcast, hopefully this is ready, either done, completed, or ready to be blocked. Because I would need it to wear it that next weekend at the retreat. So that is my vodka lemonade. Did I miss anything? Nope. 24 days, 9 rows to split for the sleeve. So hopefully, I think right now it's taking me about 30 minutes to do 2 rows. So I would imagine that I probably won't finish it tonight, but maybe tomorrow it will be ready for that sleeve split, and then it'll just be Body Island for forever with it has some nice lace details on the front panels and on the middle of the back. So excited to get to those, and hopefully won't take too long. The next work in progress is my Magic Heel Socks by Autumn Acorn. These are a long-term project. I think I cast these on in April of last year. This is the finished sock. So this is a sock that you knit cuff down on the heel rather than doing a heel flap and gusset or shadow wrap or German short row or anything like that. You just do ribbing. So you do ribbing on the heel, and then you go into the normal foot. So I've been working on this while I am walking for work, so listening to an audiobook and walking during an hour for work. And I think last time that I showed you, I just started the heel. And then while I was walking the other day, I counted them and I had reached 30, and it's about 60 rounds for the heel that I have on the first sock. So I marked where the 30 was so that I could keep track a little bit better. So I was about here the last time, knit the 30 rounds for the first part of the heel, and then now I'm on the second part. I think I have, I'd say 15-ish more rounds until I'm done with the heel, and then it's just the foot and the toe. So that will be continued working on while I walk for work. Again, no real date on when I want to finish that or how I would like to finish it. I have not been putting this in a bag or anything like that while I'm walking. I've just been popping it in my hoodie pocket. So the skein is getting a little messed up, but this is the Mermazing colorway by Yarnable or Hypnotic Yarns. I believe it was a colorway that I got maybe January or February of last year, and then cast it on almost immediately into these socks. I don't have the tag anymore. It is long gone, but that is the magic heel socks. All right, my next work in progress is another sock that is in my Oh Wow Amsterdam bag that I got from my friend Glenn's shop, which is Oak City Fibers in Raleigh. And inside of it, I actually have one done, so I'll show you that one. So this is a sock from my friend, VitRabbit is his username, but so Vit or VitRabbit or Rabbit, whatever you would like to call him. These are his socks. I sent him a couple of colorways. It's probably been 2-3 weeks ago. I sent him a couple ideas for colors that maybe he would like, and this is the one that he chose. So this is the Army of the Dead colorway by Long Dog Yarn, again from her One Collection to Rule Them All. And it was a sock set, so this is the Army of the Dead. If I'm not mistaken, this is the colorway Gimli. So I am just doing a 72 stitch count. It is on a 1.5 US needle, so that I don't have to catch on more stitches because of my gauge. I am just using the contrast color for the cuff and the toe. This is where I am on the second sock. I'm all tangled up as always. So I have done the cuff and about 5 rounds on the leg. I was using this as an incentive to work on my vodka lemonade. So the other day I was having a hard time really focusing on the vodka lemonade. So what I would do is do 1 row of the vodka lemonade and then do 5 rounds on this sock and alternate. So that's how this sock was also getting done. The mini, here's the colorway Gimli. I only have a tiny bit left, but I am not concerned about running out for the toe. I actually got the full mini. I have this in a yak base, the yak sock base, and I am looking forward to making that as well. Here's the label. Is on her bounce sock. And there is the label. So this is from the first release, because the first release tags were green and the second release tags were brown. So that's how you know that. So this is, again, I think I said 72 stitches on US 1.5, I think it's 2.75? No, 2.5 millimeter needles. And again, that's because of my gauge, just to make sure that it is not too big, but I don't have to cast on more stitches. That is what I do. So let's pop that in there. I didn't put the other sock in there, but I'll do it in a minute. The next work in progress is in a acquisition, so I'll show you it as well. So this is a new project bag that I got from my local yarn shop. It is a woven basket, and then it has a fabric attached, and if you are eagle-eyed, you will spot that there are indeed bunnies on this bag, and so that is the reason why I got it. It is just a drawstring bag. Inside of it is a new sock. So me and my mom, a little bit of lifey stuff as well, me and my mom went to a party for her client. He turned 90 years old, and I wanted a sock or something simple to be able to work on while we were at the party without being too much of a distraction, but also to kind of keep, you know, anxious mind at bay and be able to focus on the conversations that were happening around me. So I cast on a sock, and this is, I think I just got past the ribbing. Doesn't want to focus on it. I had just got past just got to the end of the ribbing at the party. So I cast on right before and then did about 1 inch of ribbing. This is on 9-inch circular needles, which is something that I don't do too often. I find that it cramps my hands just a little bit more, so it's not my preferred method, but it is a method that I use when I want to be low profile knitting. So if I'm on a plane, so that I'm not, you know, sweeping large needles on magic loop or have multiple needles for DPNs, this is the method that I choose for airplanes, movies, just things like that. So I thought for a party, you know, being able to keep it in my lap and work quickly, that is what I chose. So this is as far as I got. I worked on it a little bit, part of the heel flap and gusset. I don't know what is going on with the camera today. It's like, no, we don't want to focus on the beautiful knitting. So I have a marker for my beginning of round, my halfway point, and then just my little stitch marker from, can't remember who it's from. I'll put it, you'll see it down here, and it'll be linked below. But that is what I am on. I am using 1.5 millimeter, yes, 2.5. I'm using 2.5 millimeter US 1.5 needles. Previously, I've knit all of my 9-inch socks on US 1s, but my tension tightens, and so they would be too small. I would knit 72 stitch socks, and they would be too small for myself. And I usually use 68 stitches, so I went up a needle size. So this is US 1.5, 2.5 millimeter, and we'll see how it works. I'm knitting these 62 stitches. I think that is all about the actual sock. The yarn is Camp Fiber Yarns. I think this is her older logo maybe, or older band. I can't remember. And it's just a one-of-a-kind. I purchased this from her, from one of her like one-of-a-kind oopsies, or, you know, end of year type of things, about a year ago. So it's just a one-of-a-kind, and it will be a sock. So that's just a basic vanilla sock that I will be working on after I make my friend Vit's socks, so that those can get in the mail while it's still winter for him. So that is the last work in progress. So just a few acquisitions for you today. The first one was that project bag that you just saw. Just a project bag made by a local vendor. She vends at a local farmer's market every week. She does hats, baskets, rugs, all sorts of beautiful things. And she started making these project bags for my local yarn shop, and they are chef's kiss. Let's see. So the next, I almost said work in progress. The next acquisition that I got are 2 balls of stroll fingering in the colorway white from Knit Picks or We Crochet. This is 75/25 base, and I got this because I want to make, I'm going to put it here, I want to make this blanket. I cannot remember the name of it right now, but you're going to see it on the screen. I want to make this blanket with my now I can only think of Camp Fiber Yarns. A homespun house. With my homespun house rainbow fade advent calendar. This is the blanket that I would like to make, and there's like different separation colors, and so I wanted just a plain white. And as I've said before, a homespun house, that was a splurge for me to be able to get that advent calendar. And so while I would love to purchase a solid base from her to use with it, it's just not in the budget right now. So I went with a budget stroll fingering to go with it. And it's just to separate those colors as you knit them. There's beautiful eyelets, and it's almost like a chevron looking blanket or throw or wrap or something like that. So I got 2 balls of that to go with the advent for that blanket. The next acquisition is from Long Dog Yarns. I signed up for her monthly sock set subscription that is based on just influences from New Mexico. And so I wanted to get that monthly. So I'll get that every month and share it with you here. If you have subscribed to that and haven't received yours, or you're avoiding spoilers for that, please skip ahead, or this is the last thing I'm going to talk about today, so I could see you next time if you don't want to see. But this is the inspiration, so I'll show you that first, which was White Sands National Park. So she gave this beautiful postcard picture, and on the back there is information about the national park itself. Let's see if I can get that to focus. No? There we go. So you can pause and read that if you would like. But just gives some information about the White Sands National Park and why it is White Sands National Park. And so I got her merino sock, which is 75, 25, 463 yards per 100 grams. And this is the colorway, which is gorgeous. I probably would not have like picked this out if I was in a yarn shop, just because the neutrally lighter colors are not something that I typically gravitate towards, but this is beautiful. And my goal, which I say on the 28th of January, is to wind these up and cast these on during the month that I receive them and knit them in the month that I receive them. So far, I've failed, but those will be my next ones. I had my socks that I was making for my friend, and so those took priority, and once I finish those, then I'll wind that up and cast it on. So it'll be done, fear not. But that is all of the acquisitions that I have. I don't really have any lifey things. I kind of threw it in with showing you my projects, like me and Mom went to that party, and still walking for work. I'm watching something new. That's exciting. Typically, I'm just watching YouTube and like people playing video games and things like that. So it is pretty exciting that I do have a new show to share with you. I have jumped on the Downton Abbey bandwagon. I don't know why or how that came about, but I just started watching it and accidentally watched the first 3 episodes of the last season. Thank you, Amazon Prime, for showing me the incorrect season when I clicked on it. So, spoilers. Yes, I've gotten spoilers. I know that a lot of things are going to happen between now and then. However, I did not pay too much attention, so I have no idea who they marry. I have no idea what happens to them. I have tried to think really, really hard. Do I remember the names that they gave me? Nope, not at all. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of surprises because I still don't understand what happened. But I think I'm on season 4. I kind of binge watched it over the last week or so. So, excited to finish that. It's a great show so far. Lots of, drama and murder and death. There was one night I was like, oh, I'll just watch one more episode of Downton Abbey. Everything will be fine, and then I'll just get me some nice sleep. I'll stay up just like 30 minutes later tonight and watch another episode. And then people died. And then I was sad. And then I couldn't fall asleep because I was sad that not my favorite character, but that a character that I enjoyed died. So, there's that. All right, I'm going to stop blabbing on about Downton Abbey, and I'm going to leave you here for now. I will see you in about 2 weeks, and hopefully we'll have some finished objects of that vodka lemonade. In fact, I need to be able to see you with that being finished. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Blueberry?